Okay, my friends, good morning. How is everything? Great new special day. How is that? Okay, or good evening, who knows, right? I hope everyone is checking those videos until we have our new ones at our website so they can start already learning because we're going to put all of them organized in a proper way for them to have be part, right, of each department. Okay, so this video is for updates for May 22nd, all right? Okay, different subjects. The first thing, let's say a few words about sacred waters and sacred lands. Okay, so they're sacred in a way that we don't want chemicals to them. We want them clean, right? So let's talk first about water, all right? So the water comes to us from different ways, right? Springs, streams, rivers, lakes, oceans, right? Different ways. So we have to see the best we can to have those areas clean. Okay, the springs, what we can plant, what is the most appropriate, because we have to, once we have a stream or spring, everything, but when they're little, we have to be really careful, pay attention. Okay, so what will be the most sustainable to do in there? What to plant? And in margins of lakes and rivers are going to be other types of plants, right? What do we need to keep them alive? The springs, I'm saying. So these details are very important, need to have proper rules and guidelines for everyone the same in all countries, and also specific details to each county according to the species of plants, bushes, trees, right, to plant there to make them stronger and bring more water, because we need water in all countries. We need water. That's very important for us. Okay? And we need clean water. All right. So now let's talk about clean water. We are going to have aquifers, wells connected to aquifers. That's the first thing. Every city where it's already possible, we're going to do right now, because that's the most important thing, right? To build wells or deep wells, because that's a difference, right? Some are really deep. And make them in a very strong way for them to last for centuries and millenniums. That's very important, okay? And if it's a grassy area, how to make the borders, because there's different ways to build them. How we are going to do, because we can make some countries, the soil is very strong, very strong. And they can be the brick itself, right? But some are not, some are sandy. So for the wells to don't break apart, right, when they're dug or decades later, we have to have different types of wells made. Okay, so we're going to have explanation according to the type of soil they have. That will be very different, because some we can have strong tubes until the aquifers, and some don't need that, because the water already come from the sides of this well, right? So how will be made in deserts? How will be made in semi-arid lands? Which deserts we're going to bring water from the ocean, take the salt out and use? So we are going to have specific details for everything. And who is in charge of that? The headquarters assistant teams for every university, because they are supposed to be the ones that knows the best in each country. Okay? All right. So every university will have those teams. Okay? But it will be one university per county that will be the headquarters assistant team. Okay? You see the difference? All right. Okay, because as I said, some counties are overpopulated and they have quite many universities already. Okay, all right, so that is a few words about wells, how to connect to aquifers, where the water will be coming from. Because some deserts, it might be worth it to bring water from the ocean. Just take the salt out, right? And how that will be made. Will be made in big lakes with plants, for the salt to decompose and then transfer to another lake with more plants and things, and then transfer for irrigation. How we are going to do that? Okay? And or for the plants and also for people. Okay? Because we need that. All right. The other the thing, just a minute please. It's for deep wells that will be placed in semi-arid and desert land close to the ocean. So we can do that. Some can be a halfway and some can be really deep. Okay, how we are going to do that, that's important. Because there's sand. We don't want anything to be destroyed for centuries and millenniums, right? The best as possible. Because we know some are really old and still good, but we have to see how we're going to do because it's sand over there. Okay, so the other thing is that for the way will be built and also on a surface, how the water can be transported. It will be sustainable to have the water from the ocean filtered and used, and those filters going to be cleaned over and over, or in a natural way with one pond and then transport the water for the salt to get down, and then they're going to pass to another pond, something like that. 2 or 4 ponds with plants in it. The first one might be with cement, because sometimes they can empty out and take the salt that will be built up on the bottom, right? So they can empty out sometimes and use that way. I don't know if that's sustainable though. Or build them in a way that they have these cavities and will be clean sometimes. We have to see how they will be made. But we can do both ways, and let's see which one is the most sustainable. Because in some countries, the deep water wells will be more, can be made in more sustainable way for the community. And some will be more restrict because they do not have a lot of water in the ground. So for example, Brazil, right? We have a lot of water, aquifers, but some other countries, they don't. So we have to see. Also, some countries are huge and they have different problems and good qualities in different locations. So for all these details, for each region, each place, and then gonna be like the template, how they're gonna be, and gonna be a number, but because that's not related to weather, it's related to soil and ground, right? The composition of the ground and the texture of the soil and things like that. Okay, so they're gonna, on the website of the county, gonna list, for example, okay, this region can have water wells of this number, that number. That's the template number of the organization. All right? Okay, so we don't have to say all the details for everyone. All these basic things gonna be at the organization website and not at the county website. The county just gonna mention which ones they're allowed to have in which areas. Okay? So let's have 4 different types of surface water from the ocean, right? Because we need to learn different things, because if one along the centuries don't work, we have the other one already planned, right, on how to do it. Okay, so let's say 4 different types for surface water, because they're gonna evaporate or gonna be filters, or how that's gonna be done, right? With materials, instead of having filters that are sent to landfills, we're gonna use plants, right, to filter them, because we might be able to do, using different natural fibers to filter this water. The water gonna keep passing with pumps or whichever it is, but gonna be filtered with plants or with sand itself and change sometimes, right? The particles, the grains of salt going to be deposited on those places. So and then they have gravel and things like that. I think is really reasonable. And the other way is the ponds, right? With some parts might be cement and some parts might be the plants itself to filter the water with plants. And the other way, we have many different ways. So let's think about four or eight. Let's do 8 then, because we have so many different environments, right? And in our planet. So let's try 8 different templates, okay? And then the volunteer is gonna assign the best templates, the best 4 for each county. I think that's really reasonable. All right. So now let's say a few words about how many aquifers can be built. Deep wells. Okay, so we're also gonna have a proper amount of aquifers can be built according to the number of people, but also according to availability at each country. So we're doing all these big new lands we're doing here. Brazil, United States, all of them, because they're countries that we're going to be often going, easy for us to go, the headquarters to go to visit, check, see how they're doing along the years, right? We have to see how people are doing. They have plenty of water, plenty of sun, and the soil we fix. That's already decided. Okay, other countries can also have some things, right? Some places, but we are trying the best as possible to have here Brazil and United States, Florida, maybe Georgia. I think these two states are really plenty, because we don't want anything that's towards the desert, and we don't want anything much towards the north, because it's cold and gets snow and all those other things. So what other states and other countries that are warm can do, they also gonna have some housing, but not too many. That's what I want to say. Not too many. We need people everywhere to cover deserts and semi-arid lands to end this and really cover them up. We have to build, plant over and over, plants until they are beautiful forests, right? Okay, so we need people that as soon as they have water and land, they can plant, okay? Because the soil we already talked about, we can improve. As soon as they have some food there, we can bring a lot of grains, for them to have, because afterwards we're not going to be shipping anymore. Things from other countries, so they can have a good amount of grains. These people that will be living semi-arid and desert land. So they will have for a few years. And they will start planting their own gardens and with their proper beds, garden beds, to retain water the most as possible. Okay, that's another thing that we need proper templates. We need templates for the 8x2, right? Because every family gonna have big gardens right now. We have huge families, right? So we need 8x2s. Every family needs 2 of those, okay? So it will be 4x16 meters in 2 separate beds, all right? So they can easily reach. If it's 1 meter deep, they can easily, adult can reach with their arms and don't have to step in it. Rare exceptions, fine. They step to harvest something or plant something in the middle of the bed. They're going to be, I think is reasonable, about 40 centimeters tall from the ground. That's it. We're not going to have these very high beds. For now that we have a lot of elders in all countries that cannot bend, so we are going to build a few, right? For seedlings, things like that, not the real ones, but for seedlings, yes, they can do. Or if they are going to use nurseries, right? So we also need 8 different templates according to the zone, area they are, but we already know they are hardwood for the wood frame, really properly made, and we're gonna say which one. So some types can be hardwood boards, some types can be hardwood timbers that they will even last longer, but people have to be careful about when one timber encounters the other, and things like that, because people need to use what they have on their environment the best as possible, their county, their country, right? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And we also need 8 different templates for nurseries, right? Because in hot countries, we need some nurseries for the seedlings and, plants like that. And for cold countries, we need to really grow food. So every single house will have their own nursery, not nursery, sorry, we'll call greenhouse, right? Every house to have their own. They will plant outside as well when the weather is good, but during winter, as soon as they have sun and good fertile soil, for some species, they can be used in the ground. And for some other, needs to be in pots, right? In plastic pots. Why? Because the ground will be frozen, of course, right? So it depends the species, depend the country, how cold it gets, the soil, right? Because the snow will be just a few meters away. So we need 8 different types of greenhouses and 8 different types of nurseries. You see, that's different. Nurseries and greenhouses. Okay? All right. So for some countries, the nursery and the greenhouse is going to be one thing. Or maybe we can even do separate as well, because we're going to have big, huge communities and schools with many, many kids. All right, so let's keep like that. Everyone will have separate greenhouses and separate nurseries. Okay, so we need 8 of each type. So we know, and every county website gonna have the same. On this county, we can build number this and number that. Okay, so the people that will be remodeling everywhere, we already know. Is that awesome? Okay, subscribe. Oh, hurry up. Subscribe right now and send this video to everyone you know. Great idea? Okay, and soon we're going to have our website ready. Okay, my friends, let's keep going. Okay, so everything I said up to the moment is about sacred waters. All right? Okay, so now let's talk about the topic number 2, updates for number 2, sacred lands as part of the first department. Okay, sacred lands, oh sorry, forgot one thing about sacred waters. So we are having sacred in a way to respect, to honor the water, to save the water we use, to have clean waters everywhere we are, to be really careful, kind to water, kind to nature, kind to springs, streams, rivers, lakes, oceans, right? Okay, so we have to put the aquatic plants and all these things. All right, so I'm going to say a few more things about water. Sorry, I forgot. It's for fisheries. So if we have a river, or even a small river like a stream, or if we have the ocean, right? For sweet, right? And salty water. Oh, I don't know. So we can build fishing ponds. How that will work? All right. So the water, we can, we are going to have proper templates on how to build, how to do, if it's possible or not, where this water is coming from, where it's based at, because we're not touching anything close to the base. After, how far, how many meters need to be from the spring. So if you're using water from streams, how far it is, how much is the volume of water, all these details. We really have to be careful and act accordingly. All right, so we're going to have 8 different templates for sweet water and 8 different templates for salt water. Okay? All right. For the sweet water, right? So it's from springs, streams, rivers. Okay. So the water comes, right? Divert some of that water with pumps or whichever is possible, and the water keep cleaning the ponds of fishing that will be raised on that area. So it's very important for people to don't let birds, water birds, to come in, because they bring eggs from other type of fish. Okay, so it's the same way we have people watching the chickens, right? So hawks and other things, other animals want to get them. So we need people to have a little look, always have a little look on the cameras, while we have cameras, and also in person, because it's fun. Just sit over there, yes, because we need points, and people are going to work having fun. How is that? They can be running on that time, they can be studying on that time, and can be elders as well, having fun, taking some sun and watching. So water birds won't bring eggs, right, from other fish from other areas. So we have only the type of fish we want. Okay, it's not going to be only one type, going to be a few different ones to be sustainable, but not the ones like I don't know if they carry piranha eggs though, but we don't want fish, those birds, to bring a big variety of other fishes. Okay, all right, so we need to start with minnows, start with bacteria, going on, and from there we go, because they will eat the mosquitoes, and we can have the plants that we want. It's important for the fish, right? We can plant things for the fish to eat as well, so they can have food, nutrition, right? Okay, so we're doing fine. So in some place, because we need food, my friends, we need food, and fish is a very great food source, right? For nutrients, for minerals. Okay, so the water keep passing, keep going, and keep cleaning, and go back to the same river. That's fine, right? Okay, so now let's say a few words about the salty water. So first, they're going to determine what type of these 8 templates for different types, how the water is going to be brought from the ocean, right? Or type of pump, or what time of what they're going to be using, right? To bring that water. Okay, so the water comes in, irrigate those ponds, how the bottom of the ponds will be made to be sustainable, will be mud, or will be sand, what will be. Okay, the water keep going, right? And then we'll divert to a location or back to the ocean, right? Or to the community itself, right? For irrigation, because gonna have all this, both of them, sweet and salty water, gonna have so with the dirty water from the fish or the other ocean creature that we think, but I think basically fish, right? Because they grow and they're strong and healthy. Okay, so we have to see what will be the most convenient to make filters with plants, right? That will absorb, and also sand and things like that. In the same way we already talked on the other program. Or if the water will be keeping renewed itself. Which way is going to be the most sustainable? Or if we are going to have 4 templates of one type and 4 templates of the other type. So we have to see these details, because we cannot have fish ponds with a lot of so that's very important. How we are going to do that? Okay, so we have 3 major things, right? That's a big problem of those fish ponds, right? Right now they're called farm fishery. For us, going to call fish ponds, because each location going to have their own educational sites, residential communities, right? Each one, where it's possible, will have their own. Okay? All right. So we have to see the food that's not eaten, all these things that becomes waste, dead fish and waste, feces, right? Okay. So how we are going to do? We're going to treat the bad water, right? How often will be, and sent out to the plants, to already irrigate the plants nearby, that the agroforestry or be used even for the community garden. And after using that water, how many days people need to wait to harvest new food, right, from the garden or fruit trees. So all these details from each type of pond, of template, need all these details from building those ponds, how the water will be brought, and also afterwards. Okay, in countries that aquifers are plenty, then it's okay. Instead of bringing water from rivers and streams, they can already use water from their own aquifers and use the wasted water to their own plants. Okay, all right, we're doing really great. And for salt water, and then you have to see, right, bring over how far can be, because we can make collection from the ocean, but how far can be. And also in some places might be, like for example, salt water might be even called farm fisheries. The workers go or come back and they sell for points in fisheries, in a town, in a city. And families that want go and buy them with points, because everything going to be based on points instead of money, right? Be done in points. All points will be based in dollar, so it's $1 per each point, for us to have an idea, because dollars the money that everyone in a country have best idea of what it is, so it's the one we are going to use. Okay, so we'll be for now, for this 28 weeks, gonna be called dollar points, so people have an idea how much they are, how much it is. And when they get points for doing good things, they're gonna call peace points. After the 28 weeks, everybody will already have an idea. We're just gonna use peace points on both ways, when they get points and when they use their points. So families can use points to buy things, to go to special field trips, right? Boat rides and all these other things. Instead of money, they're gonna use points. How is that? Awesome, right? Okay. Also for our airplane travels, and trains, and gonna be really good. Goodness, hurry up, my friends. Let's get ready for our 28 weeks. Okay, the other thing I want to say about sacred waters is that it's sacred on this way that we respect the water, we treat water well. We have clean waters for everyone, including our fish, our animals, our chickens, right? Clean water for us to be careful, to be kind, but also in a way that we don't want anyone, so it's forbidden to don't enter that beach, don't enter that pond, don't enter that river, because it's sacred. We're not using that. Okay, yes, we can enter if it's safe. That's another reason. Every county will have which places are safe to enter, which places are not. And they also will give an estimate, because we're going to kill alligators, crocodiles. They're on an extinction list, right? So they're going to have some estimates on, depending on the environment they are, because we're going to have hunters working every day on those places to have all these bad animals out of it. Okay, so we are going to have estimates. And then as soon as the county believes that that is reached, and then they can point reached, right? They haven't seen any of those animals in how long. And then we also need a rule and guideline for that. So no one saw any alligator in this river, crocodile or something. So how long it needs for no one to be seen, then how often that place is visited for them to check that point that people can go and bathe on that place. Okay? All right, you're doing really great. So yes, if the place is safe, yes, we can go and swim, we can go and enjoy. Every place is gonna have the rules and guidelines, okay, according to what they are, of course, dress code. They can play, if they can play on the beach or not. For example, it's not safe to go in the water, but the beach is okay. For example, in places that have piranha, or have that tiny thing that's warm, give warmth to people. Or some places get people blind, right? Some rivers are bad, they have bad things, bad ingredients on them. Some lakes are bad, so they're harmful, but people can play outside. So every place will be checked really properly if they're safe in the water and if they're safe in land. Okay? All right. Okay, so now let's say a few words about sacred lands. Okay, so about sacred lands, the same way, we're not using chemicals, right? We are using now, yes, we are using GMOs everywhere that's possible, because the main thing is for us to have food and fast, right? So fruit trees, vegetables, what's available, we are not producing anymore, but what's available for seeds, they're sold on the stores, yet go ahead, buy them and already plant. The main thing is for us to already have food, because people are already eating chemicals anywhere, everywhere, most of the countries, right? So with pesticides, even bad things. So yes, they can get these little sprouts that are for sale, right? And they can use them. The main thing is for them to have their garden as soon as possible done. Get the authorization from the community, get the neighbors, get organized, set up a day, and get it done. Okay? All right. So we are using fruit trees. Yes, we are using GMOs. Yes, we use what we have. And of course, as soon as possible, we start to plant our own, that are not GMO, not covered in pesticides and herbicides. Okay, so we got all these things ready, and we are respecting the land. So we are not using Roundup, we are not using artificial pesticides, artificial herbicides, and things like that. Okay? All right. So people that already have them in farm, I think the best would be to already use them and sell them. Instead of finding a place to retreat them and things like that. But communities that don't have them, they're not buying more. Okay? Because it's a lot. It's a lot. If we see in all the countries, that's really, really a lot. But people are going to use carefully, on those farms that already exist. Okay? In organic farms, we are not touching, not bringing any bad chemicals to it. Okay? And for hydroponic farms, right? We are already gonna take the system down, put to recycle, as we harvest and bring the items to recycle and harvest and keep doing this way, because more and more people will already having their own food from their own gardens. About 30 days or so, right? 34 days, 35 days or so, they can already have quite a few different things. But the family is gonna be really big. Okay, so we're just gonna do the best we can. All right, so we get this organized, and farms that already use can keep using until they are done with that, and for farms that do not use them, they keep clean, because that's our priority, have everything clean. Okay, so we're done with that. So now let's say a few words about the communities, educational sites, right? They're not using, they're not using any of this, how you call, earth growth, these things with synthetic pesticides, herbicides. You're not putting any of that, because people don't have them. So we're not buying and using, okay? So this is very important. Okay, so you got that, and we are going to... The only thing that for stores that sell them, shops, right? So here in Florida, we have Lowe's, we have Home Depot. They already have those synthetic pesticides and herbicides. So we need specialists to see how we are going to treat this material somewhere far away, right? And filter and then put in the ground, right, somewhere far from food, and so how that will be done, how we'll neutralize the power of it and filter, and then disposed in land, not in water, of course. Also for existing fisheries and existing farm animals, right? So we have to make an evaluation on how those lands need to be treated, okay? Because we are not just ignoring. If they use pesticides, they already use. What can we do? It's already done. So we have to see and plant natural things, because with time you're going to aerate the soil over and over, right? And we are going to use those areas. Those areas are going to be used for the city, right? Or they are going to have residential community built right there, on them, beside them, whichever is the most convenient. The organization volunteers from universities going to be checking what each place going to be used for, right? But we're not ignoring good land that's used. Let's use it, right? And with the years, they're going to be cleaned naturally. All right. Okay. So for those places, those farms that already use synthetic pesticides and herbicides, and people are going to be living there, so our objective is like that. To scrape the best as possible, right? And where they will be planting their salads and vegetables, we are bringing organic soil and make the garden beds, okay? And the bottom, they're going to put boxes. On this type, it's worth it to put the boxes, bring the boxes. Because then we will avoid the grass growing, but also we avoid these chemicals that are gonna take some time, okay? And we will already say how long it take, or how that will be done. If we put a little deeper, and actually gonna take it out, and let's say in 4 years or so, no, sorry, improvement here. Yeah, we're not putting boxes because we have already the rain, the irrigation to already clean the synthetic pesticides and herbicides that some farms already have. Okay, so we are bringing organic soil for the garden beds, but we are not making a barrier, because if we make a barrier, it's going to take much longer for the chemicals that are right under the cardboard boxes, right? To leach out, right? So we have to do this work. Okay, so everyone will have on the top of those garden beds will have organic. They just have to be careful when they plant carrots, when they plant, things that are really deep. For the rest, I think is okay. Like beets is okay, radish, because they're more on the surface. But some carrots are long, so and then they will need, to have deeper, more organic soil on those garden beds. Oh, sorry. Okay, so Roundup itself, the liquid itself, we have to treat it in the same way as the granules. So all of them will be forbidden for moment of notice, right? They send the notice to the cashiers, and the cashiers will already know in 5 minutes. Every cashier of the store needs to know. So they're gonna give announcement, maybe 4 announcements, one after another. Cashiers, attention, cashiers, attention, give the notice. And then a few minutes later, again and again and again. So in 20 minutes, gonna be 4 notice for all the cashiers of all places that sell those items, okay? In small stores that do not have speakers, we're going to do this way. We are going to, the manager will go one by one and tell them from that minute on, they cannot sell any synthetic pesticides, herbicides, and already mention which ones, right? Because some people, they don't think much. They don't even know. They just keep passing on the machine, right? Because some people don't think about those things. But they're going to say Roundup, the granules. If they have a question, they call the manager. They tell the customer, can you wait a minute? I don't know if I can sell that anymore. Everyone will already know before they turn off their inner ear speaker. Everyone gonna already know to pay attention when something said notice. They have to read. They cannot ignore an email. They cannot ignore a text message if the title said notice to you. Okay? All right. So when those people are buying things, they have to take everything out in 20 minutes. If they have to close some cashiers to have the cashiers helping, all right, go ahead and have the cashiers helping to take everything out. Okay? For them to. Okay, so they have this 20 minutes to take everything out, right? Okay, so the first thing is to block customers to buy anything, okay? The second very quick thing is to have enough people, take them all out of the shelves and already bring them to the truck. If they have a truck available for themselves or for customers to rent, because usually those construction stores for construction items already have those trucks, small or big, or to already put those things in it. They have to be closed. They cannot be open like pickup trucks, not good. They have to be closed. If they don't have, the university gonna send them proper people to pick them up in closed places. All right. If they really don't have, because some countries, right, in rural areas or whichever, they don't have too many closed trucks. That's okay because they're already in bags, right? So that's okay. They put in pickup trucks, bring to the location, right? And we'll do the treatment afterwards. These weeks we're home planting, okay? But the main thing is for them to close their store, take the bad things out and close the store. All right. So for plants, vegetables, they're going to put everything outside. So people that are close by, they can go and pick them up. Also for wheelbarrows and garden items, okay? Because we're going to use what we have. We are not making new, for example, garden hose that are bad. But we're going to use what we have right now. Okay, and then will be, because the main thing is for people to start and have things, right? Watering cans and hoses, even they are not so strong, they can use right now. It's okay, because until in the future, we have the right ones for everyone. According to proper details, going to be everything online in our website in alphabetical order, according to their subject, okay? All right, so the store owners, if they're there, they can do it. If they're not there, the managers need to do. They're going to put everything outside. So the people that will, or leave that part of the store, because some stores, they have the nursery separated from the main store. So they're going to get all the garden items and leave that door open. In a reasonable way, nobody gonna get anything extra than what they need. They have to be considerate and think that other people need as well, but they can go and already get what they have. So seeds, watering cans, the hoses, wood for the garden. So they're gonna put all these items in a location that the families can come and pick them up, including wheelbarrows and other carts that can be used. Okay? All right. So families that still have their cars, because they have 2 days, right, for their house cleanup, they can use them and bring them over. And people that don't have a car, they can already use these wheelbarrows. And everything that the people from that community think they have too much, they can return a few for other people to pick them up during these 4 weeks. So that's very few exceptions. People can leave their communities during these 4 weeks is for to get those items or return something. Okay? No, return only afterwards. To pick up is okay. Including also garden beds, the big ones, right, for fruit trees, and also small ones. And people can also get the machines, right, the machines that, small mowers where they're available, right, for them to mow, because they have to mow to be able to take the grass out. Depending on the location, some places might already have a lot of, tractors, small tractors, to aerate the soil, because then people will be, if the tractor, this is small, very small ones, like big mowers, right, with one person sitting on it. So if they already aerate the soil with this regular grass that need trimming, if they pass the tractor at least once, oh, it will be really great, because then the people, will be much easier for them just to pick it up, those chunks of grass that won't be used, and put them out. So when people will be taking those chunks of grasses, they have to shake them well, right? So the roots will die, and put in a location for them to dry, such as a road, right? Or a cemented area that's not used, or just upside down. But they have to shake it well, make sure it's dry. The other thing that they have to do, it's for every new sprout or something, take it out, keep taking out. So all these locations that native grass will be grown, the residents need to start planting them in trays, in whichever it's possible, right? Or just wait and plant the seed itself. That's another way, of course, that we're going to do. But the main thing is for them to pick up every new sprout, clean really well the old grass, right? Before we have them plant the new seeds. So they won't be mixed and growing together, going to be much harder. So people can wait a few weeks, make sure nothing is grown, and rake over and over and over with the hard rake and with the soft rake. I'm just saying these words because it will be easier for people on the translation to have for all countries, easier way. All right, so they're going to rake over and over and over and over. Of course, on the land that they're going to plant the family garden beds, 8x2s, 2 meters, they already can put the boards, right, without cardboard boxes. Okay, and on the places will be grass, they can already do that. All right, it's mandatory during the 28 weeks to use shoes. Remember that? It's mandatory. Even people live there for a long time, because you're going to be remodeling soil. Who knows if it's a piece of glass or a bed spider or something. So it's mandatory. People cannot be barefoot during these 28 weeks unless it's the real beach, that is really safe. Even on margins of rivers and lakes, really be careful. Stingrays and things like that. Okay? All right, so during the 28 weeks, only tennis shoes at all times everywhere. Even people going to the beach, they're going to be walking or running. They need to put their tennis shoes. They're safe to run, okay? So everyone needs proper tennis shoes. That's one of priorities. Okay, so about sacred lands, so comes our respect with all these chemicals, these things, the stores we're going to close, and the things that are available to people. Okay, for people that sell also trees, they're going to have an idea. They live there, right? So they already have an idea how many communities they have. Okay, so the store owner going to already place a little piece of paper, according to how many plants they have. How many plants? How many fruit trees they have in different sizes. Okay, so let's say they have about 50 or 500 small trees. And then they have 1 meter tree, about 1 meter tree. And then they have 100 or 1,000 trees about 2 meters high. So the store owner or the store manager, we already say how many of those main items, these most important items, each community can have. So we want to have a community that don't, want to be calculating, well, getting too much or too little. Okay, so they're already going to leave. When families will come to pick up those items, they will already have a list. They already know how many they can get. In stores that they have more people available, they're going to even give more details, such as watering cans, hoses, everything according to their items. And before those 4 weeks and after the 4 weeks, we're also going to have people can order things online. Yes, they can order and people going to deliver when possible, right? Or before or after those 4 weeks. Okay, so the families that will be picking up those items also need to be chosen. So if any resident family see that someone already picked something, gonna figure out who did it, where it's located. Oh, let's try to talk, or who was organizing, or who invited others to come on one or another day to pick up things. So they won't go again thinking that people didn't get. So people that will be getting those fruit trees and garden tools and everything else, they cannot hide them on the back of their houses or back of their porches, right? The best as possible, of course, if it's for shade until they're planting, that's different. But for the items they can already put visible, such as watering cans and tools, put it visible for everyone to see right in front of their homes, right in front of their apartments. So other families can pass by, oh, look, someone already got, let's talk to them, knock one door, knock another, and figure out who brought those items. Okay, so the manager of the stores will leave all details for everyone to get and share according to how many residential communities are on their area, in their area. So how they're going to do that? So they're going to see how many stores are in the county. Let's start with county first. All right, how many communities they are. All right, and then they will place. If there are 2 stores, for example, here in my county, we have 2 stores really close by each other, but they're right by in a big avenue. So how they're going to be? They're going to separate already, and then people that will be coming, they will place their names in front. The couple that will be coming to pick up their garden items, they're going to be placed. So we got those items for this community, right? The community is there and what each community can get. And there's other piece of paper will be the name, telephone number, and email of the couple that got everything or part of it. That's another thing. So they're going to check the items they got. So if they didn't pick up everything, another family will be coming, or they will be coming themselves afterwards and pick up their things. Okay, for farms and areas that they use synthetic pesticides and herbicides, that's how we're going to do. When they will be bringing organic soil for the family garden beds, will be 40 meters. So let's say we have about 25, right? Centimeters from the ground, more or less, right? That's reasonable, 25. And from those 25 above ground, they're gonna dig, right? Put the bed soil out, and gonna be 40 to 60 centimeters of organic soil, because that will cover also for carrots and things that grow deep, or the plants that have deep roots. Okay, so that's reasonable, that's great. And as we're gonna be planting and aerating the soil and watering them, the chemicals will leach away. So for fruit trees, the same way, if they have good soil right there close by, right, a neighbor or something, they can start bringing the best as possible and order those trucks with organic soil coming from faraway farms, let's say an hour or so, and bring and dump in a special location so they can use that soil really well. All right? Okay. The other thing that people that have cardboard boxes, they can also cover areas for the grass to die until the tractor comes. This they can do as well, but we're not using under garden beds. The other thing about sacred lands is that won't be places, oh, that's sacred, we cannot go. Oh, we cannot go that. No, we're not doing this. all places can be visited if they are authorized. Places that are dangerous, that's like cliffs and things like that, we don't need to go there. We have enough image online. So those things we don't need. We have enough images of those places, okay? So we are not going to make paths or pedestrian passages of from one cliff to another, from one side of a river to another. Those places are not needed, okay? If it's a regular bridge, depending on the island, then it's okay. We're going to have, and the engineers and residents, headquarter assistant teams from the university going to decide that. We need at least 4 couples that has the degree in engineer, and 4 couples that are residents, right, in another profession, that can say which ones are worth it to keep or not, okay, for real bridges, right, strong real bridges. But for those that were made just because of traffic, for people to don't be crossing the street because of traffic, those are not needed anymore, because there won't be so much traffic anymore, and almost no cars, and they can pass the roads in the regular places. Places to be crossed at will also be determined. People cannot, the streets that will still available, they cannot cross anywhere. We're gonna still keep the way that people gonna cross in determined locations. For blocks that are too long, they can cross in the middle of the block. For now we're going to paint the floor and have a sign. On the future, we're only going to have a sign, made in a very sustainable way, so future generations can also keep making those signs. We're going to let you know afterwards which type of sign gonna be metal signs painted, or gonna be made in wood. How will be the most sustainable way? So we need maybe 4 different templates for signs, because we're not going to keep painting the floor, the stripes that is used nowadays, right? We're not going to keep painting them over the years. That's not sustainable. We're just going to have the crossing signs. And the traffic lights also, where it's not needed, we're going to be taking them out, because we have way too many of them. They are really not needed. We need the cameras though, right? But many we are going to already recycle. These traffic lights, already recycle them because they're not needed. And the cameras we're going to keep. All right, so that's good. The other thing is, for every fish tank and aquatic parks, where the fishes and sea life animals are enclosed, they will be taken out, right? And depends what it is, if they are on extinction list or not. We already know what to do, and recycle everything. So the first thing we're going to do is release the animals, right? That needs to be released, and for the others to already send to places that can be used by the population to be eaten, right? Because some people need food, that's what they need. All right. So they also have 2 days to close down. So they're going to do the best as possible, so the organization, volunteers, going to give a list of things. So which ones they're going to do on these 2 days, and which ones they're going to wait, because they have to wait for 4 weeks. Nobody's going to be there to feed those animals. So they have to already send them to be treated and give to people to eat, right? So they have to empty out everything, because no one will be going there for those 4 weeks. They also need to give details on what they're going to be releasing, because we are not going far away to the ocean to bring them out. Okay, so the ones that not will be used to eat, they have to be killed and buried, right? And how that will be made, and gonna have details, the each university, right, gonna have details on how they will be done. And as soon as they have this information at the organization launching day, we're going to post all these details at our website. But if they have this message, they already start thinking how they're going to make, how they're going to empty out all these enclosures, because no one gonna feed animals anywhere during these 4 weeks. The same is for zoos and also for a circus in some countries that they still use animals, trapped animals, and safaris and all these places will be exactly the same. You know, if the animals on extinction list, they already know what to do. If the population won't eat them, that's another story. You know, they're already gonna be cut in parts and bury them in proper locations. They cannot go whole, you know, the whole body. We're not doing that because it'll be too many and gonna take too long for them to decompose. That's not sustainable. Okay? All right. So we are going to all those places that have 2 days to close down. If they don't have enough places to send out their animals, such as safaris and preserves that treated animals that were hurt and things like that, they can let them be. Let them be. They will eat things that they will find in nature, right? But the main thing is for them to take care of the ones that's possible for them to take care, okay? Okay, so what happens is that they, for their work, if they're owners or managers or staff members of those locations, they will do the best they can, do the reports and close down. They're not going back. Other people, with rare exceptions, only if it needed. Of course, people were trained to deal with those animals in a safe way, right? For those, for example, in safari. And then they're going to need some workers to come back and help them, right? But for everything else, new other people going to come and clean up everything, because we found this the most sustainable, you know. Call new people that's already trained. Okay, this type of plastic go here, this type of material go over there, and clean up everything when they come back from those 4 weeks. And people will have their training at home using their cell phones. The couple gonna watch things together, and everyone, every adult 20 years old and older, gonna watch with their parents, okay, beside them, because they cannot give their cell phones to the young adults. Gonna be right there beside them. Okay, so every fishery, every supermarket, and every butcher will have a piece of paper saying what that meat, which animal it is, okay? So people that will picking them up before or after those 4 weeks, they will know. And they will freeze everything else, you know, so they're safe for these 4 weeks and people can get afterwards. Okay, so we're going to use everything from all these sources for all these regular animals, mammals, and everything else that people can eat, they will eat. Also from those construction companies, they're also going to have separated and available mulch, hay, everything they have there that's good for the gardens. They're already going to have available. So for people to already be picking them up and using them in a good way. People that also have like a horse flat wagon to put the garden items and bring them back, you know, if they don't have cars anymore, they can use that as well after the 4 weeks. Because before, many people will still have cars, so let's use the cars and get the materials. Okay, the other thing is for other chemicals, right? So for example, synthetic medicine, alcoholic drinks, and things like that. So we are not dumping at the sink or at the toilet. People are going to dump them outside. So that's very important. They dump them outside. So we will avoid putting all these bad things into water, okay? So they bring a little far away, maybe 10, 20 meters from their homes, right? Because we don't want to put right there where the gardens will be. but they dump them outside, okay? And with the rain and with the watering, right? With the time, they just will leach away. For synthetic medicine, sorry, I didn't explain this one. They will be picked up, like the same as electrical items, and will be brought to specific places to be properly treated. We are not putting synthetic medicine into our grounds, right? What I said before was just for alcoholic drinks. They're two different things. Okay? So every residential community and every pharmacy, right? Synthetic pharmacy, the allopathic medicine pharmacies, will separate them in boxes, right? We'll separate them. For residents, they will put in a transparent bag, close it, and they will put where is determined as every other electrical item. Okay? All right. So this way we're also helping, for us to have clean waters. All right. The other thing we have to talk, it's about shaving, beard and legs for females, underarm, all these places, pubic hair and so on. So how that's going to be done? People are not going to use the toilet, For regular shaving, they do what is possible right now, right? And they will be trimming with scissors, right? Like for men, underarm, for men and women, the pubic hair and things like that. They will be trimmed away from the toilet, pick up with toilet paper, and they will be placed them on this location with this little place, little bucket that we're going to have to be burned at the little burner. Every residential community is going to have this little burner, right? That look like grill and will be remodeled. Instead of having trash sent to landfills, that's how we're going to do, okay? All right. So people are going to bring as needed. 2 or 4 times a week they bring they will dump this little bucket. It's a metal bucket or a plastic bucket. I think the best will be metal, but maybe hard plastic can be used as well. They go, they dump, and every day going to be a person there that will burn these things. The ashes are going to be burned. They can put some little pieces of twigs in it, right? So we have some good wood ashes, and will be used where is needed. Okay, also Q-tips. Remember when we talk about the items, because we're not going to have landfills anymore. We're not going to have dumpsters, and no trash pickup. So all these items, including feminine items, for the days, going to be burned at their own residential community. That's the most sustainable, okay? And for these first few weeks, we have a lot of places have bougainvilleas and things like that. They can be burned as well on those places. We just have to make sure everything was burnt properly if they are putting bougainvilleas with it. So we can have some wood ashes and used at our plants. We need to be careful and sift. So we have to sift them well to make sure bougainvillea thorns are not present anymore, or roses thorns and things like that. So everything will be really clean. Okay? All right, we're doing great. So this way will be really good, so we don't have more trash pickup, right? As soon as possible, we can get organized and won't be trash pickup in the communities anymore. And that will be a real gift for our environment. Okay, so the other thing is that people that will be picking up items, the trash, recycle, and also everything, toys, right? Things that cannot be used anymore, things for thrift stores and things for the proper recycle centers, they will be picked up before the 4 weeks, right, of planting weeks families at home. Why is that? Because If they pass soon, so they already have the residential communities clean. Okay, so how that gonna be? Drivers gonna drive for 2 days. Other drivers for 2 more days. Done. Okay, and those 4 days will be plenty of time. I think about 4, maybe 6, but different drivers, because if that's their work, they got their work or their volunteer work, right? So they're gonna do 2 days and go home and don't get out anymore. Focus on their gardens. And then come another driver, right? And they're gonna do 2 more days if they have someone to watch their children. So the first volunteers, the first drivers, who gonna be? Gonna be those that need a school, because the school is gonna close also in 2 days. Remember that. So it's very important for parents that can drive, have priority those that have young children and don't have grandparents living with them or don't have grandparents at the same community. So those parents gonna drive the first 2 days and go home, don't live anymore. After that, gonna be parents that have older children or they have grandparents that can watch them, really trusted parents or siblings, nobody else, no neighbors, forbidden for parents to leave their children with neighbors. If they don't have school open anymore, they have to be home and volunteer home, okay? All right. And if needed, for the other 2 days, for other 2 days would be the 5th and 6th day, it can be retired people that didn't adopt grandchildren, right? They didn't adopt kids. They will be living with their married son and daughters, for example. Okay? So in these 6 days will be plenty for everything to be picked up. So I repeat, trash, regular recycle, right? Other bulky recycle from houses clean up, items for thrift stores, and also all the bulky furniture, because that's a lot of space, right? All the bulky furniture needs to be taken out before these 4 weeks. And all electric items, table lamps, toasters, coffee makers, rice makers, bean makers, right? All these machines, ovens that are separated, big ovens that has the stove on the top also attached to it. All those items need really to go. Those drivers gonna be working the whole day, hour after an hour, go, 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 keep going. And the families at the residential communities and also for business sites will have everything separated. So residential communities that have a clubhouse, we already put there. For rural areas and other communities that do not have a proper clubhouse, they're going to choose one of the empty houses and put everything there. Or a big veranda, or people that, depends, because some places right now, they're raining every day, and some places right now, they're in a dry season, does not rain for sure. So they're going to separate, and the person in charge, so if they have an office, the office is going to let them know where it is. If they do not have an office, they're going to have the person leader, the couple. That's like we have the park leaders, we have the residential community leaders until the 10 department directors are chosen and assume their position, okay? The position for all department directors, please write it down, will be confirmed at the organization launching day. Whichever the person is on that day, the couple for each one of those 10 places will be the one, okay? Changes can be made only during the 28 weeks. If any adjustment need to be done for the department directors, a few details here and there, will be decided, can be only with the headquarters authorization. But for everyone else, if they don't have in writing an email, a notice from the headquarters, not headquarters assistant teams, but from the headquarters, then they can be changed. That's it. For everyone else, what will be confirmed is for the person that will be indicated at the organization launching day. Okay, will be confirmed for 10 years. All right, so that's already done. Okay, so all these things will be confirmed at the organization launching day. Okay, so the park leader or the business center manager or person in charge, right? Because if the owners are not there, the managers are not there, who's going to be in charge? The person, the one that received the notice, and they have to have their practice done, and their site cleanup in 2 days. Orders, online purchases can only be done for food and for garden items. People cannot buy electronics anymore or deliver those that were already ordered. Everything they have to clean up. Also like for mail delivery from different companies of different distribution centers, everyone need to clean up and close in 2 days. So distribution centers, if it's food or garden materials, everything related to gardens and plants, agroforestry, trees, and then they can deliver. But for everything else, they cannot. Of course, if there are opioids or hemp seeds, right, everything related to things that are not authorized, of course they have to separate, cannot sell them. That's obvious, but I'm just saying to make sure we have that written down. So this way also for regular post offices, right? So they also have only up to 2 days to close down everything, don't have any driver going out anymore. So if it's an important document, they will keep and will be no, they won't keep. They won't receive any new one. That's what it is. If the person wants any other document, gonna be done already on a new way. After the organization launching day, gonna be already done on a new way. What's the new way? Online and at their local city office. So any important document gonna be done that way. Okay? And for all their needs. And everything that they accept, they're going to be shredded and send out to decompose in nature. Okay, so far away because they have bad ink printed on them. So that is not only for mail. So I'm not saying only for junk mail, like advertisements and things like that. I'm talking about everything. Personal letters, documents, doesn't matter. Everything will be shredded and the post office, all post office gonna be closed. All drivers gonna bring their truck to their location, get out in up of 2 days. Those that are traveling, they need to leave their trucks on that location. They will be going home with a train or with an airplane, depends, because some go far away, right? So as the organization volunteer, we'll let them know how they have to do it. Okay, because we don't want anybody with big trucks doing bad things. So that's the main thing. So they will already leave their big trucks, these big trucks that go to airports right there. They're going to go home. They can use urban buses, they can use trams, depending the city. So they can already leave those big trucks, whichever they're asked to do, or at the post office itself. But what I'm saying, they have to close down. The close down is up to the second day at 6 o'clock. Nobody else. It's not 48 hours. So it's very important for us to be clear on those details. It's up to the second day at 6 o'clock in the evening. Okay, so people that work at the post office bringing deliveries, these small trucks, some countries are bicycles, some countries people walk on barefoot, right? They heard the notice, they're already gonna stop in that one same day, okay? So if they have money inside the envelope or whatever it is, they're not going to be delivered anymore. All right, so people that are going to make donations to the organization, they have to hurry up and do this now before the organization launching day so we can receive. And the right way, because money is still valid only until the organization launching day. They have to do online for them to make sure the headquarters will receive that money, and so we can purchase a few things, right, while money still be used until the organization launching day. It's very important for them to do online, using PayPal, as I already told you how to do it, the email, they have to do it, and not sending gift cards. Okay, so that idea is not good. So please only do online for us to make sure we receive fast, can buy a few things, because on the organization launching day, we're not going to have money anymore. Everything will be free to everyone. In a good, positive way, in a sustainable way, right? Okay. All right, so I think about land and positive practice, I think I already said quite a few things. We're just going to add a few things I said before to other videos, and maybe a few more things can be said afterwards. So this video, with a very few exceptions, is only for clean waters and clean lands. Everything related to these two things, and everything belongs to the Department 1, the Department of Clean Water and Peace. Okay? Sacred Clean Waters and Peace, the first department. Okay, so now let me say a few words about the Department 1 as well, the organization events. So we are going to have boat parades 4 times a year, right? So we are going to have January 1st, because that's the Universal Day. We are celebrating that all countries, everywhere, we are one culture now, and before used to be many cultures, but now we're going to be one culture. Everyone going to belong to this one culture, and celebrate always the year on January 1st. We're not changing that. We already decided that. The other thing we have decided that we are not doing having, for example, with the organization work, we are not going to start from the year 0 one more time. Why is that? Because we don't want to have in history 3 main divisions for time counting, right? So we have before Christ and after Christ. That's it, 2 main separate historical in a good way. So we're not doing a third one, because that was an idea we had before. We're not doing that anymore, because that's not positive, because we don't want to have 3 different times in history. We're going just to have 2, before Christ and after Jesus, right? After Jesus, because not Christ. If we think the year that they put, it's on Jesus' birthday and not on Jesus' death, because he died with 33 years old, right? So we're not doing that. On the online and on our books, we are going to say that we're going to have only 2 times in history, before Jesus' birth and after Jesus' birth. We are going to change the initials. So going to be BJ before Jesus and AJ after Jesus. That's the right way of saying. Okay, so we're not using the word Christ anymore. Okay, so these are the other 2 initials that we are using. All right? Okay, so those are the main things we're celebrating on January 1st. The universal, universal peace. Universal Day, to be united, okay, for all countries to be the same. That's the day. And then we have Mother's Day and Father's Day. Mother's Day we already changed, not May anymore. I used to put May. We're not doing that anymore. We're doing in April, because May is a month that is odd number. So we're going to put in April. That for many countries, spring, for the North Hemisphere, and is also good for the South Hemisphere, because not cold yet. May is already cold in many countries on the South Hemisphere. So we're going to keep in April. The 2nd Sunday of April will be Mother's Day. Father's Day will stay in August, because some countries have some different days for mother and father, but that's how we are going to do. It will be the 2nd Sunday of August, okay? And everyone going to start school in the beginning of August. Both hemispheres going to start school in the beginning of August, okay? All right, so we're good with that. The fourth day that we have boat parades and special activities is the family day. Family day, it's November 11, because then we have, when we write it down, the 11 and the November, we're going to have 4 sticks, right? And that's beautiful. So everyone is standing straight, singing straight, for in name of peace and love, in name of a new humanity. So all of us going to be straight, standing straight and upwards for higher standards, my friends. You heard the word before, stakeholders, right? But we're going to be even more than that, for higher standards, okay? So that's going to be really beautiful. Our family days. Families united, families with peace and love, families with good practices, families also working in a beautiful way, planting, having their own food, having everything they need, but also having fun, have time with their children, have time with their practices, right? They will have time to do things, and that's going to be a real gift. All right? Okay, that's really awesome. Okay, my friends. So, Family Day, right, is the fourth day that we will have our boat parade. Okay, now a few words about those 4 days. Is that we are going to have morning activity, lunch together, and then in the afternoon from 2 to 6 o'clock, family's going to choose and use their points for one thing or another. If they want a boat ride, they're going to use points. If they're just going to the water, of course, it's free. People can go. So people are going to choose where they want to use their points, right? What they want to use every year. If they're boats, because they don't have boats for everyone, right? We're going to use boats from specific locations, and schools can also use their boats on those days, and families will be using their points all the time. So it's mandatory for every family to go on a boat at least one time a year, okay? Or by themselves, or on one of these 4 special events. Okay, on those special events, they need a little more points because many people want to do that, right? And if it's on their own regular weekend or their own vacation day, so will be less points for that same type of boat. Okay, different boats can also have different points, right? So it depends how big is the boat, how special is the boat, all these details gonna be counted. The same basic, we're going to be based on dollar. For the 28 weeks, we're going to say dollar points. That's how the words are going to be used. Okay? Awesome. All right. So, in the morning of those 4 days, we're going to have activities such as special time together. The kids going to play. Some people can do at their own residential communities if they have young children. And some people are going to already spend the morning at those parks. People are going to be bringing their own food and share potluck lunches, right? They're going to be with people they know, friends from their own community or other friends that they will meet in a long time. That's fine. Right? And it's up to each family to eat their own food or to share with others. So everybody's in charge of their own food. They have to be careful, make sure the food is safe, right? And don't have anything added to it. So they have to trust who brought this, who brought that. Everyone needs to bring their food for those potluck lunches in transparent bags or transparent containers, such as strong Tupperwares, that they will last forever. Okay? All right. The transparent containers and transparent bags need to be brought in dark canvas or in plastic bags. Okay? So people will see, and they're gonna say, look, I brought this, I brought that. They're gonna say, each person gonna say that. They cannot wait too long, so they can eat at 11 o'clock their lunch, because if they got their food kept in the fridge, some fruits is better eat already at 11 o'clock. They can have their lunch at 11, or they can have the lunch a little later. So at the hour. So or they eat at 11 or they eat at 1. Okay? I think that's the most sustainable. So, some families can get a little earlier to play and already have their food, and some families can go a little later. Depends if it's summer or winter. We're going to have details afterwards about that. Okay, so the person in charge, so if it's a residential community, going to be one of the 10 department director couples for each group, because we're going to have many different groups in each residential community. So some going to be at the pool, some going to be at the clubhouse, some going to be at these other park locations, some going to be by the playground. So we're going to have different groups. People are going to sign up. Where are you going? All right, I'm going to this park. The park has different places where people are going to gather, And, where are you going to go? On residential community. Okay, which place? The pool, the clubhouse, by the playground, or by the main garden. So they're going to have words of places where those people are going to stay there the whole morning over the place they have chosen. So they're going to sign up ahead, and they have to be taking turns, right? So not everyone going to be going to the best locations, okay? All right, we're doing really great. Awesome. So it's mandatory to have the activities outside. So even that it's snowing, all right, so let's run, let's play on the snow, let's keep active and keep the body warm. In a shorter time, of course, going to be their whole morning if it's snowing, but they're going to play, have games outside. This is part, it's like a ritual that we're going to follow, all right? So they're going to play and have fun there, and they, for 2 hours or so, I think that everybody, children, adults, elders, everyone can handle easily, even that is snowing, and be active, whichever they have. It's a lake that became ice. Okay, so let's do skating, right? If it's snow, let's play with the snow. Yes, not fighting, but they can play like tag snow. Yes, but not in a fighting way. But on a reasonable, positive way. All these details, we are going to have little videos showing, for example, this for snow, right? Through snow here and there, we can still play with them, but not in an aggressive way. For example, the ball wouldn't be too packed to hurt anyone, will be more soft, just to throw. The throwing gonna be more round instead of straight, so won't get anyone face or hurt hard, and softer, just to pack them a little bit, not too hard packed. Okay, so this is very important. We're going to have short videos to show everything, these details. And the other thing is that for the lunch as well. So people, of course, if they're on residential community, they're going to keep their food home and bring when it's time to eat. And if they're going to the park, they're going to keep in a fridge, right? Even the things that do not need, but once they're bringing far away, they're going to keep so it gets a little cooler, right? And won't be damaged on the way. They're going to bring more hard, if it's summer, hot summer, they're going to bring more hard fruits and veggies instead of soft food that can get soggy or bad easily. Okay, so everyone gonna be eating healthy, nutritious food on these happy days. 4 times a year, happy days. Okay, so before people will eat, according to the group they are, the person in charge of that group, it's a residential community or a park, they're gonna do prayers. The whole group gonna be singing songs and dance together, circle dances, and also flag movements, right? The peace flag movements, and then they're gonna eat. Okay, so we're going to write more details about that, but I think it's gonna be really, really beautiful, right? Okay, all right. So now let's say a few words about our 4 festivals. Okay, so now let's say a few words about the 4 seasonal festivals, right? Okay, Our festivals. So I'm not sure if I did, so I already wrote a video about that, so I'm just going to say a few words very quickly. So 4 times a year, we're going to have in the morning school activities from 8 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Helpers going to arrive at 7 o'clock, so they're going to work from 7 to 8 o'clock, and then after that, people will help and work and have fun, during those hours. Okay, so students will be performing songs, small plays, everything on those days. So parents don't have to keep going along the year. They already have 4 opportunities to see their students performing, and only 8 notebooks from each student gonna be presented on those days, so parents gonna have an idea. The best 8 of each class. We're not going to have exhibitions of everyone for everything, and that we need from every child something. No, we don't need. We're just gonna put in everyone's head, even the little children, right, first, second graders, that the best one's gonna be presented. That's it. Okay, gonna be 8 students, so they're gonna have their notebooks for different subjects, of course, right? So they can check their materials, and they're gonna be the example for everyone else, for them to really work hard and have their work at the following ones. Okay, so we'll always be the 8 best materials for each subject areas, and we are not going to do a share along the year. Oh, this student didn't go yet, that student didn't go yet. No, we're gonna put on their heads that we are thinking already in a different way, the best ones. Okay, all right. So they are going to have these simple exhibitions of materials, of paintings, of clay modeling. They're going to have handwork, all these things they're going to have, even some samples of things they will be doing there, harvesting their cotton so they can show how they're doing, simple things like that. And the clay modeling won't be burned, right? So we can use that same clay over and over and over and over, because the main thing is the work, the therapeutic, and to touch, to model the clay, and not to have one more object at home. So we're just going to improve the way we're thinking, right, and put in everyone's head that that's the best, because it's true, it's the best and most sustainable, instead of having more things at home, more things at home, more objects. We're not going back to that place anymore. Okay, we are going to have at home the least as possible. The paintings, the same way. We are going to have thick paper. High school students are going to learn how to print, make paper, right, according to what they have, with cotton, and other fibers that's available for each county, in each different country. And we're going to paint. Okay, done. They're going to cut the paints that are not so good, because they cannot gonna have a whole collection of paints at home anymore. A few, it's okay, and the parents can have up to 4 special paintings, the large ones, right, from first graders and up, and they can change along the years, right? So every room can have up to 4. Okay, 2 and 2, or all the 4 in one wall. That's it. Okay, and then the parents, it's the criteria of the parents, of course, that's a little different. It's the home. They're gonna give turns to different kids and teens they have, of course, right? But not at the school. Okay, so they're gonna have 4 opportunities. We're going to sell passepartouts and things that they can easily take out one and put a new one. So for those that they don't want anymore, the children growing up and making better things, all the old ones we're not keeping for decades. We're not doing that anymore. All the old ones, you know, to give value, we hang when they're little. But as soon as they start making better ones, we're going to hang the better ones. And what we're going to do, the old one, cut in tiny pieces and recycle, you know, turn into new paper if we can, if it's useful for something, because watercolor can be easily, one's going to be natural. A lot can be, the paint can be taken out just with deep, you know, not dumped, sorry, just placed in water, right? A lot of paint can get out just with that. If need, a little bleach, you know, and own communities can do that, and high school students can do that as well, all right? Bleach, we're going to keep doing bleach along the centuries. That is sustainable, it's positive, so we can use a little bit. Okay, improvement for my words. The used watercolor that people do not want anymore at residential communities and at schools gonna be soaked in water, right? Because just the water itself can get a lot of this natural paint. Paint will be what? From turmeric, from annatto, these things that from dirt, right? Because the main thing is to have fun, to enjoy, to paint and flow. It's not to be perfect paint. No, that's not objective. All right? So people can use art in a good, positive way. So if the paper won't be completely white, that's fine. You know, they already have a base that is a little reddish or a little yellowish or a little greenish. So it's all right. They're just going to paint on the top of it. Okay, if it's really bad, and then they can put some bleach. The other improvement is for my words. I said we are going to keep producing bleach in every county because it's still good, right, for the pools. You know, some pools we're going to use salt, but some pools we're going to use bleach. But for other reasons as well, such as, you know, cleaning some places that they might have mildew. So they're still important for some clothes, right? For drops that I said before, we're still going to use a little bit. You know, on bottles, that drops come out and not a whole bunch, right? We are not dipping, with rare exceptions. You know, if you get a whole bunch of shirts, that's fine. But we are going to use drops the best as possible because sometimes it's just a little stain here and there, right? Okay, so that's a lot about watercolor. Now for clay modeling, the same way. We are going to use and kids can bring home. I think they can bring home 2 clay modelings, the best as possible, one at the end of each semester they can bring home. And parents also need, with time, their children gonna make better ones, recycle the old ones. So they can be what? Clay again. So how they're gonna be? They're gonna break down with hammers, right? And they're going to crumble them up, make like dust, right? For us to make sure nothing is on them, right? And then they're gonna be placed to put water and they're gonna sift this dust from this clay, right? So we are really sure nothing is on them and give to students to be used again. All right, I just don't know yet for the clay where will be the best location to do all this process. They're going to bring back to school and do it over there, or if they're going to crumble them up at the residential communities and they are going to sift at the residential community or at the schools. So I think the best needs to be a rule for everyone the same, so we are sure, right? But I will let you know about these 2 details afterwards. Okay? Great. We're doing really great. The other thing is for carpentry, right? At the schools, they're going to learn how to make cabinetry or things like that. So all the places going to have little signs, for example, for the street, crossing the street, maybe wood signs and or metal signs, I don't know yet, but they're going to make. They can make some bowls, wooden bowls. They can make a few things like that. All right. So in the same way, the student's going to learn, right? They can bring home one per semester, right? They're going to learn how to carve. They're going to learn all these important things for us to enjoy, for us to use when it's needed, right? So beautiful bowls, as they grow up, that's what they're going to do, right? Going to be used. So in the same way, students will be bringing them home, also adults, for some of those things, what they call clay modeling, carpentry, handwork. They can bring things home, not too much, because what they were just practicing, they're going to leave right there, the educational side to be recycled right there. So one per semester they can bring. Watercolor, I think 2 per semester, right? Because they're going to be doing every week, almost every week, every other week, I think. Okay, all right. On the amount of classes for each one according to their age group, we're going to let you know afterwards. From 1st grade to the 14th grade, we're going to let you know afterwards. Okay, so how often those classes are going to be. All right, so people are going to be carving and making different things, and then for small things that are not really useful, they're going to be recycled. So people can make their wooden boards for cutting. They can also do these bowls that I'm saying, and for small things while kids are learning, they can make little cars for the kids to play, right? So older kids can also do things for the younger kids. The main things they're practicing, such as knitting, right? Crochet for little animals, for young children to play, that's fine. They're going to make, and then with the time, going to make new ones, right? And in a way that they can be washed. So we have to see what type of fiber we are going to put inside, right? Because we're not going to have a sheep wool, or we're just going to use, sheep wool that we already have, because we're never going to use it, new ones. So, or synthetic fiber, we're going to use over and over, going to last for many decades and centuries, because they are very easy. They can be washed, right? They can be opened apart again. Opened. Yeah, the fiber, the sheep wool, and also the synthetic fiber can be opened up. So they will wash these small animals over and over, right? Squeezing. And then when they are not going to be used anymore, right, the cotton strings going to be burned at the burners. We already said, or cut tiny and in like 1 centimeter long each, right? Cut. And then they will be placed at their community gardens, right? Their compost, let's say, because they will be cotton. They will easily break down and be nature. Okay, we're doing great. So for those 2 fibers, from sheep and the synthetic, we're going to use over and over and over along the centuries, because they don't diminish much, gonna take a long time for them to diminish. From sheep, with time might be smaller, but from synthetic fiber, we can have over and over many small animals, right? For the kids to play up to the end of the 4th grade, they can have it at home. And at school, I think until the end of 1st grade, or, I think they can have some and play inside during winter days as well. They can have a little corner, right, with some animals. They finish their work, they're waiting for a few minutes, they can go and play with some blocks, some animals right there. Even 2nd graders, because it's important for us to don't take everything out. It's important for them to have some type of imagination with the stories, right, until the end of kindergarten, right, and also toys until the end of 4th grade, okay, at home and at school. They have this little corner, some pillows, and a little rug, right, that will be washed 4 times a year and will be placed back, right, some comfortable area. and they can wait there, talk quietly, read the book, or play with animals, whichever they want, until the end of 4th grade. I think that's really reasonable, very great. Okay, so for the festival also they're gonna be, so let me just remind everything. Gonna be the exhibition of these 4 art things, gonna be presentations of song, presentations of peace, flag movement, choreography, is gonna be presentations of plays with great stories. Needs to be for each season of the year, each grade gonna have 4 stories, right? So the teachers can choose which one they think is the best, and no more will be created. So they always gonna choose 4 for each grade. So we need 4 good stories. So if you're a good writer and have good imagination, we're going to have that. Some stories can also be based, like same as the movies. Families, how families renew from what they were in the beginning of the 2002 and how the 28 weeks renew their lives. So some stories for older children, teens, they can use that, and older they get, they can get the hardest situation, what was the hardest families and what they became, right? And for younger, more lighter subjects, of course, right? Okay, and also we can implement things on having fun, good stories, families traveling, having fun, right? Festivals. We can talk about harvesting, planting, harvest. Our story is going to be always related to families and things like that. As they grow up, right, we are going to introduce more love stories, romantic stories. They met someone special, things for our teens to already focus that they need to meet someone and going to be beautiful, someone of the opposite sex as they were born, right? So they start dancing, and then they fell in love, and things like that. They met at the garden, they met at the park, right? And things like that. So beautiful. Okay, so it is mandatory for teens 15 years old and older to be part of the same school, and for young adults to be part of the same university or adult education for now, for these 2 years, right? 2 or 4 years while they catch up and be at the university. Okay, so now I don't know yet if it's going to be mandatory for them to be at the same residential community, but I think it's not needed. Soon as they belong to the same educational site, that's the main thing, because they are going to have classes together, be together every day. Okay, so that's fine, and that is mandatory. Be at the same educational site. Okay, so as soon as new couples, right, going to be together for high school and also adult education, university, everyone that's young, those new young adults, they will be placed in the same class, okay? So until 14 years old, they're going to be blend, so they can meet different people of the school, right? And start having different friends and knowing each other and have great opportunities to meet people in different classes. But after, when they're 15 years old and older, everyone that's a boyfriend or girlfriend needs to be at the same class. All right. They can break up with each other, that's fine. If they feel in their heart, that's fine. They just have to be very honest and find a good moment to talk. Don't say in a hurry, in the middle of a class or in the middle of school time. No, they will go out, say, I have to talk to you. So the person is not there, have no idea what's going on. Okay, I have to talk to you this week. And okay, so they're going to go to the park instead of going to a hotel, for example, right? They're going to the park and then they're going to talk about the person. It's mandatory to be clear why the person wants to break up. It's okay to break up. It's all right. Oh, I met someone else and I think I like that person more. Or I don't think we are right. We were really similar many things before, but now I want to try to meet other people. Whichever is the reason. As soon as it's honest, and with time for the other person to ask questions or to say something or to be quiet, and for a few minutes, it's important for the person to be honest. Okay. The person that is saying that they're breaking up, they cannot just leave. They need to give this time to process and see the reaction of the person. If the other person wants to talk and have questions, answer the questions. If the other person wants to be more quiet and think about or is crying, the person needs to be cooperative and give a hug and say, look, just let's think positive. You might find someone that's really great, or we might be together one day. It might happen. Who knows, right? But it's very important always to be respectful and kind, clear, right? And don't write notes. Don't write notes. Be clear. Talk properly. Give that time. Cannot be in hurry, so the person cannot have a commitment soon after. Needs to give at least, let's say, 40 minutes, an hour. Let's say 1 hour, right? Depends, because if the other person really don't want to talk about, it depends also if the couple is together just for some weeks or they're together for a long time, maybe years, right? So it depends on the occasion, but it's important to give an hour of time for the other person to decide if they want to be quiet and reflect, they're just going to say bye to each other, or if the other person wants to talk. I think 1 hour is enough. The person can cry a little bit, but the person that received that needs to go home strong. It's forbidden to go home crying, say, Mom, Dad, brother, sister. No, we're not doing that. We're not going there anymore. All right? So if the person doesn't want me, I'm going to find someone even better. And it's true. It's true. Okay? So things happen for a reason. If the person really didn't find someone really awesome, what they're going to do? That's all right. They're going to find someone really bad, being a man or a woman. That doesn't matter. But that's where the focus. Mom, that person broke up with me. I was really not expecting, or I was expecting, okay? Or I broke up with that person, okay? And be strong, but I'm going to find someone better, and work for it, all right? Work for it, because it's forbidden to be alone for too long. So let's say before 2 months, that's the due time, no more than 2 months. The person, every teen needs to find someone before 2 months. So broke up on a day, which day it was, all right, before that same day in 2 months, need to get that done. The person broke up, need to put at the PSAP, broke up. So the parents gonna keep control of all their kids and all their teens and all their young adults for everything they do. So this is one of the things they have to write it down, because that's important thing. We don't want couples to break down and be by themselves, because we're not going there anymore. People need to have a partner. They're 15 years old and older. It's mandatory. They have to figure out, okay, find someone. It's not the perfect one yet. It's okay. Just get someone. All right, and gonna be that partner, and then they're gonna write it down. On this day, I got a new boyfriend. This day, my son, my daughter got a new boyfriend or a new girlfriend. Gonna write the same thing at the PSAP. These things are important. These details, it's for the organization to know, and also for any important detail that is written for the department directors to know, okay? All these details, very, very important. Okay, the festival. Sorry, I put a few other details that belongs to other departments, but it's okay because I was already talking about that. All right, at the festivals, they're also going to be food, they're going to have games, right? And if it's more winter time, they're going to have more presentations inside, and for all the warm days, they're going to have presentations outside of the garden, but they can have inside as well with AC or fans on and windows open, whichever it is for each county, right? If it's at the auditorium, because those families gonna gather and all the parents gonna watch. And some other families that have, so let's say kids can watch their siblings, of course, and for new families can watch 1 year before their students go. So the kids and teens will have an idea of what they are about, okay? So let's say children of sixth grade, for example, right? So when they are in fifth grade, they can watch sixth graders performing. All right, makes sense? 1 year ahead, so they will have an idea on how it is and things like that. If that same family has too many little kids, then the grandparents will be watching them while, or the other way around, grandparents can come the sixth graders and watch that, right? And the parents will be doing something else with the little kids. And for the following festival, the opposite way, grandparents gonna be outside or doing something else, games or something, and the parents gonna be. So the parents will also have opportunities. So let's do like that, 2 festivals. The parents follow the older kids, and 2, the grandparents will be with the older students, and the other way around as well. 2 and 2, I think that's really reasonable, really positive. Okay? All right, we're doing really great. So, when it's about 12:10 or so, everyone gonna start going home, and for the last 50 minutes or 40 minutes is only the cleanup teams that gonna stay. And they close the main front door at 1 o'clock. We have to be on time because they have activities in the afternoon at their own residential communities. So we already decide that. In the afternoon, gonna be basically the same things. They're gonna do presentations of songs, not real plays, but presentations of songs. The preschool kids can do presentations of their little plays, right? Very simple plays, circle dances, because they're not going to the preschool. They're going to do right there with their classmates, right, from the preschool. So if the school has a teacher, gonna be leading, someone from their school gonna be leading that group with the parents close by, right? So, and older kids and teens can sing, can do small things, small presentations, because they already performed the big presentations at their school. So this moment is for the preschoolers, to sing together. Parents going to be holding their hands. They're not going to be alone. And the teachers, some teachers, every community going to have teachers, right? That's mandatory. That's another thing. Every residential community needs teachers teaching at the preschool. That's right, close to each residential community, instead of sending them far away. Okay, so they're gonna have games, these presentations, gonna sing together. Parents, also families, also gonna be doing their presentations. It's mandatory for every family to present in at least 2 of those festivals a year. So they're gonna plan ahead and have written down the PSAP, which one's gonna be that they're gonna be present, and sign up ahead. So they have good varieties. They can choose which festival they're gonna present, and can be songs, about 5 minutes or so for each family, 4 minutes, right, for each family. I think that will be really great. Okay, so they have this presentation, they eat together, they will have their eat together, the potluck lunch, early dinner, right, because that's the afternoon, and that will be. And they also have their setup teams, right? Parents that already start leaving early the school or don't have kids at school. They have, for example, preschoolers, or they have elders. They are elders. They're going to be setting up what's needed for those festivals in the afternoon at the residential community. And those parents that went to school, that's going to be arriving early. So activity is going to be until 11:50 at the school. I think that's reasonable. So it's about 1 hour for people to leave or to help clean up. Depends on the team they are, right? It's mandatory for families to help at least twice a year. before setting up 7 to 8 or afterwards. That's 11:50 until 12:50, right? Because at 1 o'clock is the main person just gonna lock the school. Okay, so they have this festival, and for warm days can be until 7 o'clock. For kids to still playing and having fun. And for winters that get dark sooner, I think 6 o'clock, is the end of it. So let's have these two opportunities, 7 and 6 o'clock. Okay, so the other detail for the community, they're going to do different games. They're going to do games at the grass. They're going to do games at the pool. They're going to have, depends if it's summer, winter, if it's too hot or too cold, right? So they do things like that. They can also do some presentations at the clubhouse, right? Because every community gonna have a big covered area, right? For the religious meetings, for winter time, right? Because we want to be stronger and get used to the weather. But it's okay to be in a comfortable area as well, of course. So we can also have competitions, running competitions in the pool, running competitions on the land, right? Racing and track. We call track, right? So the kids gonna be practicing and and see who is the best, and people will cheer them, but no medals, no trophies, nothing of that. That we're not doing anymore. But we're gonna keep in mind and keep saying during the week, wow, we really did great, or even 2 weeks afterwards. So not only for their own parents to be talking about, but also for the neighbors to be talking about, oh, you did really great. You won that race, you won that tracking of 100 meters, 200 meters, or 400 meters. Okay, so we're going to establish everything what's age appropriate, and people need to follow exactly what it says. Okay, options for elementary, options for middle school, options for preschoolers, and options for high schools, and options for the whole family, right? Because we can have some games for the whole family that's going to be really awesome as well. Okay, so, and for the pool, the same time. What happens is, I said we're going to have different locations, right? For the festivals and also for special days, right? Organization days. So at the schools, at the parks, at residential communities, all gonna have different locations. People are gonna sign up, parents gonna sign up for different places. So if they're leading something, of course, that's where they're gonna be. And if they are just joining something, that's where they're gonna be. All right. The leading, so the 10 department directors, they are going to lead. It's mandatory they have to lead every of these 4, because we have 8 things, right, in a year. But they have to lead at least 4 of those things. And for everything else, they can assign people, families that have great points to lead games, lead activities. And activities. So those families gonna be assigned, and also up to 4, because if the department director is gonna lead up to 4 activities, they only can lead up to 4 as well. They're gonna be monitored by the department, each department director, right, according to the area they are for those events. And let's put 2 department directors to check and organize. So let's say, okay, for those 8 special days a year, right? 4 for the organization, 4 seasonal festivals. So the 2 department director couples that are going to lead them, organize them, will be the department number 1 of Clean Waters and Peace, right? And also the department of education, because they're also going to be organizing which presentations will be convenient to present again, right? Because some families don't have children going to school. They have the young children go to preschools. some grandparents don't have them, right? So we are doing this way. Maybe they already grown up and, have their only young adults, so they're not going to be at school. Only can go to school parents that have children of school age from 1st to 14th grade. So I think combining these two departments, I think will be great, because Department 1 is in charge of all the festivals, everything related to the organization, the headquarters and things like that. And the Department of Education related to, right, which presentations can be redone, which game is appropriate for each age group, and which game is going to be appropriate for the whole family, right? I think that will be really great. Oh, please subscribe. Subscribe right now. Don't forget, subscribe and share this video with everyone. At the organization launching day, we're going to have everything neat and organized for the website. Okay? All right, you're doing really great. Thank you so much, my friends. Talk to you soon. Have a wonderful and blessed day. Okay, the other thing that's very important, I'm already going to say it here, is part of Department 1 as well. It's mandatory for people to believe in God. Which God is this? It's the Christian God. It's Allah. It's, whichever name it's used. We're not saying God. Who God? Which God? The superior force. Done. The God that created the universe, because someone created, right? That's God. That's it. Superior force. With nature, they make all these things happen, right? Both together create the planet Earth, but God himself, the superior force, create the universe. That's it. Very simple, my friends. We're going to stop complicating things or put details. Which God it is? God. One God. That's it. One God. Okay? And it's forbidden to teach anything of other previous civilizations that have many gods, in different ways. We're not going there anymore. All right? So we have one God, very simple as simple can be, and one nature, Mother Nature, that make everything on the planet Earth to be alive. Both together, both united, make everything alive in our planet. Okay? All right, you're doing great. So it's also forbidden for people to think, because I heard that before. Oh, I don't believe in God. I believe that we can do things ourselves. What? What we do ourselves? God created a human being perfect, with organs, with brains, with a good harmonious body, a man and a woman, everything to be combined, to be in peace and love, right? So God created that, not people. People can do, they can plant seeds, but they cannot have the power to make little seeds grow into huge trees. They cannot have power for that. Okay? So all these details are important for us to have everything properly explained. It is forbidden for people to say they have power. You know what we can do? We have good practices to bring the wind, but we are not the wind. We can have good practices and learn how we can bring the rain, but we're not the rain, right? That's the difference. We can have practice, meditate, and we will teach our children and young adults on how to do good things. So the wind, the rain, right? To renew the animals, renew things in nature that we have to renew. We can do all these things. To end evil practices on this planet, we're also going to pray for people to feel comfortable, because some people, they grew up believing the wrong things in many different ways, in different cultures. Oh, this is good. No, not good. So they're going to see that the practice of our organization, that's the good one, that we're going to decide that what's the best, the most positive, most sustainable, done. And it's decided. We're not changing anymore. It's forbidden to say the other way. So what we're going to focus? We're going to focus on God practices. So all these things we can do, But the power himself, it's God. God who? The superior force. That's it. Okay? All right. And for nature, we're helping nature to renew with the extinction of these animals, extinction of these plants that we don't need anymore. Right? And how are we going to do that? With good practice. Prayer and practice. Prayer and practice. Yes, we're going to kill them too. But kill with prayer because that's the only way. Right? Kill them with prayer. Kill them with prayer. So call them to come to warm waters, and pray, as I already said in other videos. Okay? All right, my friends, let's focus in this beautiful moment of renewing our humanity, renewing our families, have families really united and happy to be united. Okay? The other thing is also forbidden. Oh, it's your point of view. Oh, it's that point of view. Oh, I don't believe in that. I don't want to do it. All these things are forbidden. You know what we have to do? Wow, great. It's true. If the person, anyone, anytime until the end of the 28 weeks have a better suggestion, a better proposal, that's fine. Do it properly. Okay? All right, my friends, have a wonderful, special, and blessed day, and I see you soon. Thank you so much for your cooperation and to complete anything that's needed. Okay? Thank you, my friends. Thank you so much, dear volunteers. And please have Andrew to edit everything because, he has a perfect English and he's going to finish that. So we are ready, everything printed. We're going to have just print one copy. Two copies. One we are going to leave in Florida and one we are carrying with us. The headquarters will be carrying the second copy for all these 28 weeks, right, for different countries. In case we don't have internet, we're going to keep making the changes, and have it. And every new improvement will be posted at our website. So for any detail, if it's for different counties or if it's a detailed proposal for all countries, people can still do along these 28 weeks. For those two books, there are two different books. One is the 28 weeks rules and guidelines. The other one is the International Constitution. Items that will start from the 28 weeks for all future centuries, millenniums. All right? With some details for different decades. Until this decade or this century, few details, right? Because with time, we're going to have the plants and ecosystem organized and working in different ways. All right? Okay, my friends, thank you so much. I really appreciate your presence, your cooperation, your joy, your happiness to bring this news and information to your family, your friends, your neighbors, and your co-workers in a very happy, positive way. All right? Okay. Thank you so much, and I talk to you soon. Many blessings. Let's sing united. Come to the gardens and sing. Come to the gardens and plant with me. Come to the gardens and sing. Come to the gardens and plant with me. Us. First it's me and then it's us. Come to the rivers and sing. Come to the rivers and sing with me. Come to the rivers and sing. Come to the rivers and plant with me. Come to the lakes and sing. Come to the lakes and plant with me. Come to the lakes and sing. Come to the lakes and plant with us. Come to the beaches and sing. Come to the beaches and plant with me. Come to the beaches and sing. Come to the beaches and plant with us. All right? So this song, different department directors or parents start to sing, and then others will join them. Oh, and I also, once that we are here, also for the department one, people can start singing a song that everyone knows, and others will join. Okay, so can start, if it's a couple, if they're already partner, they can start singing together. They can plan a little bit, right, for a minute or so, and they can start singing together, and then people close to them, everyone that's working in the garden Saturdays morning can join and sing with them. If they do not have a partner, they can start singing alone. So people will already know who does this. So people will already know who is single and who already has a partner, right? Because some people, as I said, some people might break up and, looking for someone new and special in their lives, okay? So that person will be singing. And people can also create songs. For example, a new couple, they can create songs. We're going to have sentences already made, many sentences, hundreds of sentences. I don't know how many, maybe 200 sentences that people can put together and create their songs. They're not going to be recorded, but they can sing right there, right? If they're using harmonious music, and if they can put those sentences together, the sentence is going to be already made, because we don't want in the future of our humanity for bad songs to be created. We're not going there anymore. So I'm sorry, but we have to do these things, right? And then the couple can sing one sentence, the other one can reply. We are going to give some examples so people are going to have an idea, but basically it's like that, right? Good morning, how beautiful it is, or oh, I'm so glad to see you, and the other answer, and I'm the one that is honored to see you. Things like that. So couples can also sing this way, and also children, right? So we're going to have appropriate sentence for children, families, and appropriate sentence for those that are couples, right? So children can choose some sentence and also can sing by themselves, not because they're looking for someone because of their age, but because they're having fun. And they can also sing with a friend or with a sibling, right? And we are avoiding to have a father with a son, or a father with a daughter, father and kid relation. So we're trying to focus more father with mother and kids with kids, okay? So, or sibling with sibling. If they're older, different in age, that's okay. So because we don't want also to have this attachment to parents and kid, or one kid that talks too much about the mom and not the dad, or vice versa, right? We need to work more on their own level of being together, all right, and doing things together. For these details as singing on Saturdays for gardens, all right? Okay, we're doing really great. So those songs will be for this special place, for this special Saturday morning garden. Okay, so now I'm going to say a few words about religious meetings, okay? Okay, the religious meeting is going to be like that. Every department director couple will be guiding at least. Okay, so we have each residential community has 10 department director couples. So every residential community gonna have 10 different religious meetings, okay? The religious meeting is gonna be on Saturday or on Sunday. Saturday afternoon for 2 hours, or Sunday morning for 2 hours. So I think 2 hours is really reasonable. For Saturday, I don't know yet if it's better to do right away, right? From 2 to 4 or 4 to 6. And maybe we can even have open for people to choose, and they're gonna have sign up and always do the same for the whole year. So we're gonna have 10 meetings every weekend, 10 different meetings. Okay? All right. 10. All right. So the department director couple leading each one of these groups, when they have vacation, everyone that belongs to their group will have vacation as well. Okay, so they're going to be placed in different locations of the residential communities. For example, one group can be by the gardens, another group by the clubhouse, another group under a big tree, beautiful tree. So we're going to establish the organization volunteers going to decide where those 10 places will be. Okay, so, and people can change every 6 months. They can go to a different department director couple, right, and join their leader, right, their religious leader every 6 months, and they will sign up. So openings gonna be, they can sign up, let's say, a month ahead, right? I think that's good. So if that place and gonna be the total number of participants for each one, you know, so a month before they open up those sign-ups, first come, first served, and gonna be open, let's say, on the first Saturday of November. Let's do that, November. So we have 2 months for people to be organized, sign up. So these lists on the first Saturday of November gonna be available 7 o'clock in the morning, gonna be available Friday before, but 7 o'clock in the morning they're gonna be placed at the table, right, that will be, let's say, by the clubhouse, okay, or inside or outside. If it's outside, they need a rock, right? We're going to have some rocks, not round ones, but a little longer ones, flat ones, or pieces of material we have, like tile, right? The strong ones to hold the paper and want wind. Gonna be in covered area. So I think at the clubhouse will be the most appropriate. If it's too cold, gonna be inside, and if it's a warm weather, gonna be outside in this little covered area right there by the front, right? Okay, so we're going to have 10 different pieces of paper, pages, right? 10 different ones on their clipboards, because those clipboards going to be used along the year for different sign-ups, because we always have to do, remember, everything online, but also on paper, okay? And what it counts first is the paper, because that is the one that's going to last along the centuries, along the millenniums, not the online. So what it counts, it's for this residential communities and educational sites count first after the 28 weeks, the one that's on paper, okay, because as I said, that's the one gonna last forever, all right? And with the ink that we're also gonna be producing ourselves. Now everyone needs to plant indigo so we can have blue ink and use on the future. You're not going to be used, you're not producing plastic pens anymore. I think we don't need them, right? Maybe we do. Let's say this is another department. All right, so people are going to count. So when they go home and going to sign online, it needs to be done after they do on paper first. Okay, and they have to go over, let's say, at least 4 different departments, because in the future, you know, after 10 years, we're just going to have 8 departments, not 10 departments anymore. So they have to go over at least 4 different department directors before they repeat a person. We're doing this so they can meet different people, right? Different couples, how they think, you know, everything is to do with the organization anyways. Everything they can talk about is only related to what's authorized. But people have maybe a little different ways of bringing, right? Okay, so there we're going to have songs that they can sing, and gonna be in nature most as possible. Gonna be only inside if it's cold, okay, or in a covered area, and or more protected the wind, because my main concern is not cold or hot. My main concern is the rain, right, for rainy season. So we need a few places that are covered, such as the pool area can have a masonry cover. You know, some gazebos in the property can have also a covered area, right? And in some cold places we can even bring down or close down the sliding doors, right, and leave them open during warm months. Okay, so big sliding doors, okay, so people can get or windows and have one main door. Regular gazebos, you know, to protect a little bit from the wind, from the rain. Okay, all right. So they have to, every family needs to go to at least 4. So they're gonna have 2 years without repeating the same department director couple. Okay, so those papers will be there. As soon as they're filled out, they're gonna be taken out, and other families gonna sign up for the ones that are left over. All right, okay, so everyone sign up, and will be according to the number of residents. So they're gonna be divided in the same way for everyone, you know, so every department director couple will have the same amount of families and joining them. Okay, some families, what's gonna count are families with the children, right? And how many couples. So these details we're gonna let you know afterwards. We are going to count on how, person by person, right? And not babies, for example, or we count everyone. Yeah, I think we count everyone, right? From babies until elders, we're gonna count one by one. Yeah, let's do this way, right? Because I think that's the most appropriate. Okay, so, and it's mandatory for families to join Saturday or Sunday. Okay, this department director is gonna share. So now during the 28 weeks, gonna be 5 of them gonna be on Saturday and 5 of them gonna be on Sunday. Okay, and then every year they can change. Yeah, they can change. So we need 5 locations. Yeah, we need 5 locations, not 10 locations, sorry, because they're gonna be repeated, right? So we need, after the 28 weeks, gonna need less locations, right? So we're gonna need 4 locations for the meetings. Yes, that's what it is. So because they can use, after the 28 weeks, gonna be what? 4 on Saturday and 4 groups on Sunday. So the idea of the Sunday is for people to already go, you know, early in the morning, and then they go to the park, whichever they want to go, and you know, go rest in the evening, early sleep or nap, and then sleep in a regular time. You know, each family gonna decide their own. And for Sunday is decided, it's gonna be early in the morning, but the proper time I'm gonna let you know afterwards. If it's 7 to 9, or how gonna be those hours, right? Or 8 to 10, needs to be one of these 2 for sure. And Saturday, we also give an answer after. Will be better 2 to 4, right in the middle, or 4 to 6, that's really the end of the day. Or even 5 to 7, that's fine because it's a Saturday, right? 5 to 7 is also an option. So for the real times for Saturday and Sunday, I'm gonna let you know afterwards. Okay, after the 28 weeks, I'm going to say a few words about the department director. Okay, improvement for my words, I was not clear. So it's not after the 28 weeks, it's after 10 years. For 10 years, gonna be 10 department directors, because once we already chose them and they work so hard during the 28 weeks, they go ahead and will complete their term. their term of the 10 years, right, for everyone. So for these 10 years, we really need them 5 places that will be used for religious meetings. That is Saturday, and the same places will be used on Sunday. After 10 years, going to be 4 of those locations. All right? Okay, we're doing great. The other thing we can do for rainy season and for winter, because everyone needs to be inside, so we can use the same locations, right, that are inside. So for example, Saturday, we can have a group 2 to 4 and another group 4 to 6. I think that's great, right? Okay, agreement done. That's perfect. Because this way we already have the 2 groups there, and people will sign up ahead during the winter this way, or the whole year, right? We think. No, for winter time, for winter months, because some counties, they're colder more than just the winter season, right? They're little cold, very cold before and after as well. All right, we're going to just give details like that afterwards. But those same places can be Sunday like that as well. So we can do 6 to 8, I think is too early for Sunday, right? But maybe you do 7 to 10. Then going to be too late. Yes, we can do that. 7 to 10, or we can do in the evening, right? 4 to 6. People leave early and go to the park, do what they have to do, and come back earlier and have their meeting 4 to 6 during winter time and rainy season. Okay? So I think that will be great, because then we need less places that are covered with enclosure for the rain or for the wind, right? Because we cannot focus if people are getting wet, right? We cannot be under the trees. Okay? All right, so that's decided, and I think it will be really beautiful. Okay? All right, so the themes that these department directors can talk about during those meetings are based on our work about peace, love, families united, people to be kind, to be respect, to be happy, to work out, to eat healthy, all these things. Okay, we are going to have more specific guidelines, information with all the topics they can talk about, and what they're going to say going to be based on the organization work, right? And if they know different of what we are teaching, they cannot say. They can only say what's written down. Okay, the way they bring the words then is okay, can be different, but the subject they're talking about and the point of view going to be exactly what it says there, because that's our focus, to have one point of view for the whole planet in all countries. Which point of view? The most positive and the most sustainable. That's what it is. Okay, my friends. All right, you're doing great. The other thing is, for each subject they can talk, right? People can ask questions, they can answer. Other people can also answer, a few things, can talk, can express their feelings, but not young children, right? Because let's say they will have different opportunities in life. We don't want to give too much opportunities for children, because then they have nothing to do when they grow up, right? So I'm going to let you know which age they can talk about something, right? And according to the subject. All right, so for young children, children cannot talk about some subjects that is for teens, but teens can talk about that, right? Finding someone special. And children can also express their feelings. That's different. One thing is talking about organization subjects. The other thing is expressing their feelings. So we're also going to have the time. People cannot just keep talking over and over for many minutes. We're going to have time. So children can talk for up to 2 minutes, for example. And teens and adults can talk up to 4 minutes, for example. Okay? And the department directors guiding the religious meeting also going to have a time frame. I think they can talk up to 6 minutes each time, up to. because to avoid people to keep powering, and overtaking the time that others can use as well. I think that's reasonable, right? 2, 4, 6. I think that's good. Okay? All right. So they also need to ask permission. Excuse me, can I say some words about myself? They already say, the person that's asking permission. Excuse me, can I say some words about the organization work? So people will already know what they're talking about. They're talking about themselves or they're talking about the organization. Okay? Or the person can say, can I please, excuse me, to talk about myself and the organization work? For people to think and work on their mind what they want to say ahead of time, instead of, don't know what they're going to say and just be there and talking about anything. So they have to organize on their mind first before they go and speak up. So people can also bring songs. The department director couple is going to have the special songs, opening songs, conclusion songs, and special in the middle, they're going to bring special songs for the animals to be renewed, right? Songs related to the weather, which weather they need to bring good weather, right? So going to be special songs, opening songs, middle songs, and conclusion songs. Okay? All right. And I think it's going to be really beautiful. I'm really excited. Okay, for the religious meetings, we need to use our uniform. Okay? And for special events as well. The 4 times a year, the organization special events, we are going to use our uniform. We have jeans, blue jeans, or can be social blue pants, that can be as well, and our uniform that I already said on another video. Okay? All right, my friends. So I really appreciate, and many blessings to all of us. Good work, positive work, and I talk to you soon. Happy days!